You're always doing this for the camera. The simulation was done before that was applied. This is dumbass. To make everything much more red. What am I looking at? Can we see more of this, please? Damn! That you add 3 layers of details. Oh, I love the effects though. The effects are beautiful. I just think this should be illegal. What's up, animators? Sharp here, and welcome to Gear, a series where you guys send me your work and I give my expert art reviews. I do 3D professionally. This is where you guys get feedback. It's been a while since the last episode because I was waiting for a special guest who couldn't make it, so I'm alone today. Plus, I was working on my recent geometry notes tutorial. You should go see it if you haven't already. If you want to submit your work for the next episode, the link is in the top of the description. You'll find this form, fill it out, and I'll give my feedback. Now let's begin with Gear. First up, Elios Entertainment with a YouTube link. Whoa, that looks sick. Pokemon real okay, what? Pokemon in real life? That's a documentary. So I'm seeing a lot of live footage here, but then some shots are just fully CG, like this here. I think the rocks and the scenery could use more detail. You know, since the previous shot looks like this, you want to match it as close as possible. There's a lot of definition here in the rocks. Then as you cut here, they're kind of smooth and stuff, right? Although the integration is nice, the idea is nice.
Boltoy will quickly congregate and may begin crying in unison.
I love how this is a documentary. It's like you're recording them in the wild. I love the idea. Ooh! See, there's a plus of having CG environment because you can make it interact with the lighting. That was the right call. And this Diglett, you can kind of see the patterns here in the simulation. I'm guessing this thing has a subdivision modifier and the simulation was done before that was applied. So you can kind of see individual polygons. I guess that's what's going on. Or maybe it's just the simulation settings. I'm not sure. Plus, the subsurface scattering on this. There's a little bit of a noise issue here on the nose. I love the wrinkles. It feels meaty, right? And the subsurface scattering kind of makes it feel like it's made of flesh. And the little hairs, their little bald heads, balding dads. Even these, you know, they're covered in fur. The lighting looks nice. The spastic movements that insects usually have. There's even little details here in the eyes, like you know how flies have those hexagonal eyes things. There's attention to detail for sure. And you went ahead and made the smoke simulations and stuff. This is a proper work of art, sir. And kudos for the idea. I would unironically watch an entire documentary like this. Next up, Jushi in 3D. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Biggest scale animation project I've done since I've started 3D less than a year ago. Okay, this is 1 year of experience. We got spaceships. The clouds here, I would say, feel very uniform. So the scale of all the clouds is uniform. If you take a look at pictures of the Earth, there's different scales of clouds everywhere. You could potentially achieve that by mixing in 2 different noise textures with different scales. So you have large details as well as small details to break it apart a little bit. There's a thing in 3D which we call the 3-layer approach. It basically means that you add 3 layers of detail. So first of all is the overall larger detail. That's how you get the main clouds. And then you add a pass with smaller details for slight variation. So it's not as uniform. And then at the end, you go another layer down for the finer detail. So you get unique variation and details in every single scale. Okay, very dark and gloomy. Okay, I feel like the spaceship could have more surface details, you know? It feels like it's made of one material. I feel like it also needs variety, such as like little hatches, vent systems, pipes, windows, something to break apart the surface into all these shapes, right? There's no variety. This looks interesting. Here's a comment that I have about the scale. Let's say the spaceship is massive enough to carry actual people inside. Say a person is about this big. So it's got a bunch of mass. It's pretty huge.
That's what she said.
In that sense, you would make the movement slower here, because if something large is moving, it appears to be moving very, very slowly, because it needs to move all the mass. Example time. As a human, I am not very heavy. So when I move, it looks like this. Now let's say that I was a giant 200 feet titan. Suddenly I have all this volume, all this mass. And if I want to move that, it takes a lot more force. So naturally, you would animate it like this. I feel like an idiot. That's what you would do with the spaceship, at least. And little things like as it lands, it feels like there's a lot of mass here, it would tip over. So just add a leg or something, you know, just the little things like that. As well as variation on the clouds, on the design, textures, and stuff like that. But overall, it's not bad, it looks pretty cool. Lantern. Okay, so the atmosphere feels proper. You can see the fog, the moisture, the ambient lighting, as well as, you know, the warm tones from the lamp. But I feel like the animation is pretty stiff. It's very slow and uniform, and the faces don't move a lot. See? Usually blinks are fast, eye twitches are fast. You would expect some faster, more dynamic motion. Ooh, but the fight actually picks it up. So as they're fighting, you actually do feel the weight, you do feel the physics. You do feel like everything is intentional. However, the faces are still pretty stiff and they don't move a lot. I would incorporate more of this dynamic motion in the idle animations as well. Plus faces. Faces are stiff across the board. Nice job on the ambience though. Goofed. So this was the reference image, you know, the cover of Doom. And this is the actual render. I mean, it has the same vibe, that's for sure, but the original is much more red, much more fiery and bloody. So I would add a gradient that goes from yellow to red. This is orange, not red, just make it more red. Add some still images of fire, maybe. You could also add like a red filter across everything to make everything much more red. And you can add like a bright light behind the main character for all these yellow edge lights, you know? That will make the image pop more. It's missing the aggression. Mr. Mech, I was trying to emulate PS2 graphics, but with a modern touch. Oh! I love the pixelation and like the lack of anti-aliasing. It's like a nice little touch. It feels like PlayStation 2, yeah. I love how there's a lack of ambient occlusion and the background is just a PNG. It's a nice touch. I think so, maybe at least the background, but these buildings are 3D models, I'm not sure. Low poly barrels, this nice crate box. Maybe if I had to say one thing, is to also make the character more low poly, maybe that would bring it closer. Because you have smooth normals here, and I'm not entirely sure if PC2 already did that, if they average normals, or if you just saw straight up polygons. That might be one thing, but as far as the vibe goes, spot on. Love it, nostalgia. Echo. I made this a while back in Blender. It's a Valorant character named ISO. Pocket Dimension Alt. I haven't played the game. This is a game model, but I modified the textures to have a painterly style, like how Arcane and Valorant cinematics do. Ooh, I kind of wish that I got a brighter render to take a better look at it. I can tell the painterly look here. I feel like it's being pillow shaded on this side way too much. You can kind of see little creases and interesting shapes taking form in the texture here. I kind of wish I had more of that across the rest of the model. I can't really tell what's going on the face or, you know, this part. It's all very dark. That's why I kind of wish that I saw more of it. I mean, it's definitely nice. The lighting doesn't do it much of a favor here. And I also kind of wish that I saw more randomized paint splotches like I do here on the rest of this. Williamo IT. Took me and my team 10 months to do. Hashtag no homo all the way. Those of you who remember that joke, you're the OGs. Okay, it's got some dynamics, it's got faster movements, I like seeing that. It's also got like a color grade applied. It's a music video, I can't really play the music, but you know, everything said so far, the lighting looks nice. The movement is pretty cool, actually I can't even say much about this. I love the compositing, like with little dust particles and the glare, the color grading, the vibe feels like a music video. I love the use of lighting. You purposefully have like a bluish light here to kind of separate it a little bit. The rigs are three-dimensional, which I like. A lot of this is just good. Nice use of color temperature. Oh, we have a Cinema 4D submission. This is mainly for a collab animation, Love You Sharp and the other guy who he's very secretive about. Yeah, that was about the second guest that I had planned for this show, but it never happened.
Any questions?
Oh. Another pixelized one. I like these. It's obviously like a meme format. And with that, it does the job. Like, it is what you would expect from a meme animation. It's funny. I like the pixelization. The jerky movements do it a favor. 10 out of 10. It serves its purpose. Bendify. Oh, what is that? What am I looking at? I can notice a plushie here. I don't know what this black stuff is. This is like a carton of eggs? Is that a tentacle? I'm not sure what I'm looking at, but at least from a technical perspective, you have a lot of glare here. You know, there's a lot of light fall off coming from your light sources. The glow should be stronger around your lights. That's all I'm gonna say. That's all I can say. That's all I understand that's going on. I don't know, man. Wakeful animations? And the link expired. To be fair, that's probably my fault because I took so long with this video. I am sorry, you may submit again. FX Studios. Okay, it's like a Previz thing. It's dynamic, a dynamic lyrics type of thing. It's got that punch. I feel like the face could be a little bit more expressive still. I know I say this a lot, but faces, especially in animation, they're all over the place. Mainly the eyes. The mouth feels synced. Yeah, the mouth is fine. Maybe just the constant frowning makes it seem like the sound coming out of them is not correct. And the eyes, they're just always sad. They don't move much. And even in the next shot, look at here. The eyes are the same, they don't move much. It needs a little bit more animation in the eyes, but I like the punchiness. I love the ease backs and the way it makes the camera dynamic. And also, fast motion where it is required. Good job on that. Just cake. This dumbass. Okay, context. This is my Christmas present for my girlfriend. She doesn't do Blender, and apparently she submitted for gear. There's not really much to say about this default lighting scene, but luckily I do have the original file, because it was my Christmas gift. I have it on my PC, actually. Now, she is not a Blender user, but jokes aside, this is gear, okay? This is where we critique stuff, so you shall get your critique. Looking at the topology here, it's not really the cleanest. There's a bunch of n-gons present. This edge is not even connected. It's not evenly spaced. It isn't gonna work well with modifiers and stuff. Let me just get rid of this default lighting. What I would do is add a camera. I would add some lights, maybe add some background or something. Or just go the other way and make it more stylized. Delete all this, add lights from the sides for a more dramatic effect, and make the hearts look like crystals. First off, add a dissonant modifier, bring it down where it's very choppy and set it to shade flat. Oh yeah. Then give it just enough of a bevel for those highlights, copy those modifiers, and then give it some transmission, maybe an HDRI, and set the film to transparent. Boom, you got magic crystal hearts. But you do get bias points, so 10 out of 10. Fucking dumbass. Bladder of Dark. This sign can't stop me because I can't read. Animation test, let's see. Okay, there's lots of slow and continuous movements. That doesn't usually happen with people. Also, the head leads the motion. So when you're moving, your eyes are the first to make the move, then your head follows, and then your body follows. That's the hierarchy. Here, it feels like the back is leading the motion and the head is just stiffly going down. And I've also noticed with the soldier, the step is nice. He sort of has a contact with the floor. The head is still looking at the woman, but once he passes that threshold, the head is just looking at a random direction instead of just moving forward and leading the action. He can turn his head further back, so at this point he should be focused on looking forward. And then the speed boost he gains out of nowhere, I guess it's just practice and reference. Like even here, the head loses sight. He doesn't know if he should be looking left or right. And of course, the long eased actions. I need more details, more complexity. The scene is nice though. House, particles, trees, lamps. You know, that's attention to detail. That's always good. Hamza the Hedgehog. Okay. It's an interesting setting. Lots of glowy bits. The atmosphere is definitely interesting, but it feels kind of clean. I like this shot. It has grunge, it has atmosphere, lighting and stuff. So this scene at the start, it looks nice, but it's missing some grunge. Everything is perfectly clean and shiny and stuff. I think it needs a layer of grunge, like surface imperfections, smudges, fingerprints on this, maybe rust even, depends on how grungy you're going for. Now that being said, you might have added that, but it's not visible in the render. And therefore, normally you go back and crank up the value so it looks disgusting in the viewport, but it looks right in camera. You're always doing this for the camera, and here right now it looks too clean. And I could say the same about this scene. Like, yeah, these walls here, they have different roughness values, but it's very uniform. Remember the 3 layers approach, right? You would expect some gunk in the edges here, you know, maybe dust or dirt, maybe like little scratches on the wall. Somebody was carrying something and bumped into it, you know, like this is general noise. I'm talking about intentional and very diverse set of little details. And of course, the shake here is obviously copy-pasted. Avoid that. At all costs, avoid that. Use a noise modifier. Those are fun. Red pass. Ooh. There's a lot of pixelization ones. This is the 3rd one. I love the style. Oh! The 3D integration. I love this. I love the 8-bit music, the pixelated screen, the analog screen effect, and it's using 3D elements and shading them in this way. I love it. Oh! Oh, I like that. Can we see more of this, please? Damn! There's something about 3D models being portrayed, these pixelated old screens. This is proper analog horror, I love it. And the moody colors and stuff, you nailed it. Septic. Anything between 25 seconds and 1 minute would be sick. Okay. Whoa. Whoa, I didn't expect that. Hold on. There's a lot going on here. I love the effects. This feels like some Genshin Impact sort of style of thing. I never played Genshin, don't judge me, okay? I'm doing this via association. There's some interesting cell shading going on the hair, the clothes, even the outlines. If you made these models yourself, that's pretty amazing. It's also catching the highlights in the hair. Cell shading looks nice, the effects look very nice. The choreography is very packed and I love these. This scene here is just an impact scene and I love it. It elevates the work. If there's one thing that I could say about this is timings, weights, something feels off. There's definitely a style to it, because I've seen this sort of animation in all sorts of video games, and you pretty much got it down. This is like a cutscene from a video game, honestly. I just always felt like the physics are off with those. This scene here, for example, it's a bit wobbly in the air and he just accelerates down, like the gravity is 10 times stronger than it should be. Again, it's stylized and I've seen it done countless times before. It's just off. To me, it makes a difference from, wow, this is a cinematic piece, to, okay, it's a video game render. Cell shading, amazing. Character design, amazing. Choreography, pretty freaking sick. Impact shots, mwah. But the weight and the timing, still something that throws me off. Oh, I love the effects though. The effects are beautiful. 3D biased. Okay. I love what you did with the color grade. Not many people decide to go for green and yellow, but it works. It's a prison scene. The colors are doing this a favor. Also, little detail, I love that you actually used subsurface scattering. A lot of people forget to do that, and it's a little detail that goes unnoticed, but I haven't. You can see light penetrating the skin. However, the animation feels pretty stiff, and I feel like that's something that sends it into the Uncanny Valley territory. The Uncanny Valley is a principle that says that the more realistic something gets, the more likable the character is. But once it gets really close but not quite there yet, it just has the complete opposite effect. I feel like this could fall in that because the animation is pretty stiff and the face doesn't move a lot. I feel like that's about it. It's not about the character's design. While it wants to look realistic, it still feels stylized enough, but the motion is kind of sabotaging it. The hair feels pretty natural, the color grade looks nice, the subsurface scattering, nice touch, and you know, you made an animation which is 10 minutes long, so that's dedication, so hats off just for that. Dr. Casa. Weight paintings suck. Amen, brother. I actually like the shading. Is that grease pencil? I love the lines here. They kind of make it feel like a sketch. And the shading here with the dots, I forgot the official term.
Stippling.
It's like something out of Spiderverse. I'm not gonna talk about the character design or whatever here. I love the rendering and or compositing. I don't know where exactly this was done, but I like it. It's very grungy, very messy, very comic book-ish. Robix again. If you remember that one submission that didn't work for some reason, that's me. Also inspired by Demon Slayer. Okay, let's see. Oh, that's right, I remember this. Except it was just the reference, not this. You can see the compression, that's a screenshot. I strangely like it. You can tell this is 3D, you can tell it's a 3D scene, but somehow the shading or the color grading or something makes it feel like it integrates well with 2D, I'm not sure. Did you take the original textures from the reference and projected them onto geometry or something? Something's going on here. This 3D, I can kind of see working with 2D. Sorcery. Is it the glare? Is it the textures? Is it the choice of colors? Who knows? Not me. Savage the average. I would like to rate this face rig. It's this. Okay, so let me be completely blunt here. You've sent stuff in my Discord server, hold on. You've sent more things like here, so I mean, it has been a while to be fair. But as far as the rig goes, it's very usable, right? The rig itself is very good. It's easy to animate, you can achieve all the emotions you ever could have wanted from this. I just think it looks weird. I don't know what to think about this, it feels odd. The rig itself, it's a good rig. I just think this should be illegal. There isn't a link.com. Yeah, I made this space mandatory, that's my bad. Purple ban. 1 tips on how to improve on realistic hand-arm movements, struggling, camera movements, and weight. Okay, so this is about the animation. Okay. It doesn't feel too bad, actually. I love the jump itself. This part is very good. The camera jerks a lot, like if it's an actual jump scare, that's what you do. I wish the jerking, stop laughing in the comment section, behave yourselves. I wish it continued for longer, like it needs a little bit more shaking. Once the fox thing is actually on top of the camera, it should be, you know, parented to it. So as the camera shakes, the fox is always in the same place, but the fox should also be animated to jiggle a little bit, so it's not exactly in the same spot as the camera. That would look funny. So more shaking, and then as it bites, it needs some anticipation, right? So just move it out a little bit and then jerk it again more. So it feels like the fox gathered momentum before it could crunch down. It's like an anticipation, but it's also like the action reaction when you have somebody you're wrestling with and they try to make a move first, they need to set up for it, right? But that's about it. Like, it's just more shakes and more intentional shakes. I don't know if what I said makes sense. You know what I mean? Also, this part here, when it's just the jaw moving, I would give it more motion, because it feels like it's just a robot that ran out of battery going like... More motion overall, however, you need calm spots like this, so the viewer has time to take everything in. I would add more shakes and motion, but not overreact on the calm part. And that is all for gear. I know it's been a while, hopefully I can get my special guests for the next part. Hopefully, so far it's anybody's guess. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to submit your stuff for the next part. The submission link is in the description. And of course, like the video, subscribe, all the other YouTuber stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Stay sharp.